My name's Rod Eversole. I was a third class petty officer, United States Navy, USS Shiloh.
And why did you join the service?
I didn't know what I wanted to do when I graduated high school. I didn't really want to go to college. I wanted to see the world. I wanted to travel. And after being out of high school for about 6 months, I realized I was probably disappointing my family by not really doing much. Working at Baskin and Robbins is not really a career move. But why did I join the military? Because I wanted to make my family proud. I come from a long line of veterans, and it just seemed like the natural choice to make.
What was it? What was it like? I guess being away from your family all that time.
Uh, well, like I said, I went to boot camp October 25th, 1995, so I got to experience all the holidays.
Did you go? You went right after high school to boot camp?
I actually no. I graduated early, March of '95. I had enough credits to graduate early, so I checked myself out of high school and moved to Daytona Beach, Florida, a week later. And you know, as you can imagine, living in Daytona was fun. A lot of partying, not a lot of productive activity going on. So
Did you go with like friends or whatever?
I did. There was about 10 of us that all moved down there. We lived in a 7-bedroom loft, 3 blocks from the beach, A1A Avenue, downtown Daytona.
That was a good time with me.
We ran out of money very quickly.
So then, you stayed down there for how long? Then you went to boot camp.
I stayed down in Daytona to approximately August, September time frame. At that time, I was the last one to come back to Ohio. Everybody tapped out and came back home, but I was stubborn. I refused to admit defeat, but I eventually gave in. I came back to Ohio. And the very next morning, I was at the recruiter's office signing up.
Okay, about that.
All right. I'd say the worst day was a few days after we bombed Afghanistan. We're on constant security alert. We're waiting for all hell to break out at any moment. And my leading petty officer, he was making his rounds, and he came to my gun mount. And I was doing some training with my magazine crew, and everybody's nerves were on edge. And he started giving me a hard time about the way I was training and what I was training. And I told him, if you don't like the way I'm doing it, why don't you do it? Well, he didn't like it. So he said, outside now. So he walked outside the magazine space, and the doorways on the magazine are such where you got to kind of step over and duck down at the same time as you're exiting. And as I exited and I came through, GM1 Gardner was his name. He was previously basically a corrections officer at Leavenworth. He's a big guy. So I step out, and the first thing I'm greeted with is his hand around my throat. And he proceeds to pick me up off my feet by my neck, and he throws me about 6 feet into a wall, and proceeds to basically kick my ass. And this is my boss. Okay, so he snapped out of it. I mean, he was just his nerves were shot too. I mean, I'm sure he just snapped. But when he was done, I told him, I said, you really screwed up. And I went to the master at arms, which is kind of like the police on board the ship, and I reported him, and he went to captain's mass, and the captain left his punishment up to me to decide.